Yeah, so now she's glaring at me, right, with this disgusted look on her face.
Like you would.
And she says, hey, the only way I'm putting that on is if you put it on first. Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
Thanks for coming in. This is the Be Good Humans podcast.
So nice to have you back here. How do we look, by the way? He looks better than I do.
I don't. He's cute.
No, it's true, but
and a good kisser.
Wow, you really are a no-tell lover.
How are you?
Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck. Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck.
Okay, so here's the thing. As long as you are looking at us, if you are looking at us and you're watching us on YouTube, before we forget, just do us a quick favor. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe, would you? That will do us a solid. We would greatly appreciate that. And if you're just listening to us, then ignore this whole part. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Brian, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I did not have breakfast.
There's so many ways I could take that.
No, you need to really turn a corner here. I am literally physically hungry. I did not have breakfast. You probably had something healthy to start your day.
Yeah. Every day it's oatmeal and protein powder.
Yeah. See, this is one of the things I love and despise about you.
Yeah.
I normally try to treat myself to some kind of breakfast, and I did not. I didn't have anything to eat this morning.
Well, my go-to, if it's a cheat day, my go-to is a breakfast burrito.
Oh, you like a good burrito.
Sausage, egg, cheese, some beans would be nice. Now I'm getting hungry.
Do you cook a lot? Where do you come out on cooking? Let's talk about this.
Sure, this won't come as any surprise to you because knowing each other for the years we've known each other. But no, I respect, I love, I adore people that do, especially when they do it in my house. But I've just never had that passion really for cooking until recently, like the last 3 or 4 years. I start eating healthy and out of necessity, because it's awfully hard to go out to a restaurant and eat healthy because there's too many choices.
Yes, this is true.
So out of necessity, lunch is my biggest meal of the day, and I will usually make something incredibly boring. Like,
what do you mean by boring?
Clean chicken breast along with, or like a sandwich with no sodium deli turkey and low fat cheese. That.
So cardboard.
So yeah, it is. I stay away from, except for cheat days, which I go crazy. But
when you get one, how many of those a week?
No, one every 10 days.
Oh, every 10 days. God.
I reached a point where I was like, okay. Especially, it was like right before COVID, especially, but I could go this way, or I could go this way.
Right, it's a fork in the road.
Yeah, and so I chose. So it's not interesting at all, but treadmill every day and eating healthy. But every 10 days, I go crazy.
But in general, you would say that you're not a very enthusiastic cook. Like, that's not something that brings you a lot of joy.
No, it's not. But I love it when it's like owning a boat. I don't want to own a boat, but I want a friend that does.
Yes.
Like, I don't cook, but I enjoy, appreciate, love, adore great savory food. In fact, when I was in college, the only hot meal I had every day was I would do some research and I find out which lounges or bars had the happy hour munchies.
Oh,
okay. Could be tacos, could be hot dogs, could be chicken fingers, whatever it is.
And this is like Chicagoland bars, presumably, or somewhere in that vicinity. There's a lot to choose from.
Not in Chicago, but where I went to college in Bloomington Normal.
Ah, there you go.
So I'd go to the bar and I pay 75 cents because I didn't drink then. 75 cents for an orange juice, and I would have me some supper. And that was my only hot meal of the day.
I like this.
Now, how about you? I've seen pictures that you post of your concoctions.
Yeah, well, that's the fair word to use.
Sandwiches, burgers. Yeah. I mean, just, oh my God.
I love cooking, but for me, cooking is probably the closest I get to therapy without actually having to see my therapist, right?
Okay.
Like, for me, it's very meditative. At the end of a long day, I can really effectively decompress by just walking into my kitchen and starting to cook something. But when you use the word concoction, that's key, because my favorite kind of cooking is improvisational cooking. It is the what's in the pantry, what's in the fridge, how might I put those things together? Maybe I need a little help from Google, but like I really like to just sort of wing it on the fly, and sometimes that can be tremendously successful and sometimes it can be inedible.
Every picture I've seen has been tremendously successful, but let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes you're cooking something on a fly, it's on the plate, and by the way, you plate really well as well.
I try, yeah.
But it's on the plate and you taste it and it's heaven. It's miraculous. Could you recreate that?
Yeah, so I'm
Are you taking notes?
I am careful about that. If it turns out good, then I really quickly rework, like, what did I do? And then I approximate it and I try to keep it in my phone or somewhere. And my youngest son, Cosmo, who's home for college for the summer right now, also has this same improvisational culinary spirit. And so he and I make great partners in that sense. And we just, while winging it, put together a spiced Thai steak salad that turned out to be phenomenal. So we were like, quickly write it down. What did we do? What did we do? And then we have since replicated it a couple of times. So it worked.
Who taught you how to cook?
Or
it was just kind of out of necessity?
Look, like kid of the 70s, middle class Oklahoma upbringing. You know, my mom, God rest her soul, you know, all of our vegetables came out of a can.
Sure.
And it was the basics. It was like spaghetti or, you know, maybe if she was feeling, you know, really, really adventurous, Salisbury steak or something like that, right? But she did teach me to cook. Also, I think both of my grandmothers had a hand in that. I remember the first time I fried chicken was with my grandmother Alice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was that's probably where I learned a lot of it. But then some of it, I remember having a friend going over to spend the night at a friend's house in grade school and being amazed the next morning when we got up that he, as a 10-year-old kid, knew how to make eggs and bacon and could make pancakes. And I thought this was like a magic power, right? And I just was so impressed by that I wanted to be able to do that.
Well, unfortunately, my mom always cooked for Dad.
Yeah.
We're talking like suppers.
Sure,
we all sit around the table. I say supper. That's the Illinois coming out of me.
Yeah, that's how you do.
But the whole family sitting around the table, and it was always something that I just hated. It was stuffed peppers or stuffed cabbage, liver and onions, which, by the way, you don't order that in a restaurant. It's something your mom makes you eat. But Brussels sprouts and all this stuff that you would love that I couldn't stand.
No, this is not food designed for kids.
Yeah. When I got old enough to kind of choose my own food, still she's cooking for Dad, but at least I'll open the refrigerator and have a big chunk of Velveeta cheese. What was that? What was that? What was Velveeta cheese?
I will see you and raise you, because that's also often known as government cheese where I come from, and because you could get it for free, right? And my grandma would use government cheese, a big giant block of Velveeta, to make something she called cheese salad, where you take a single block and then you slice it and then you cube it. So now you just have hundreds of little cheese cubes.
Okay.
You throw them into a bowl and you pour in half a bottle of Kraft Italian dressing and mix it up, and there's your cheese salad.
Velveeta, it was like something chemical. It was like industrial solvent. There was something chemical going on in there that just didn't taste like cheese.
It could be eaten, or it could be used for insulation.
Cleaning your white wall tires.
Exactly.
Yeah, either one.
Either one of those. Well, look, here's the thing. We joke, but even if what we grew up eating was not necessarily the highest quality of cuisine, and even if the way we feed ourselves now is certainly elevated, and we have both, well, maybe my palate has evolved a little bit more than yours, but even
guarantee you that's the case.
Even with those things in mind, I think you would agree that one thing remains a constant blessing for both of us.
Okay.
And that is that neither of us has ever really had to worry about where our next meal is coming from.
Once I had that idea of finding lounges and bars to happy hour, then I didn't worry much anymore.
Yeah. So look, when we come back, we're going to talk with somebody who has not only made a personal and professional mission out of feeding delicious and healthy meals to people of all kinds in their community, but is also now teaching cooking skills, not to mention life skills, to young people who need it the very most.
And I'll just give you a disclaimer here. If you are kind of on a diet of any kind, if you're trying to lose weight, you best turn us off now.
This is not the show for you.
Our executive producer's not. Don't tell him to turn off the show.
Stick around. You're going to meet somebody amazing right after this.
you suck.
Welcome back to the Be Good Humans podcast. Our guest today is Matt Poley, a.k.a. Chef Matt. He is the owner and co-founder of Heirloom LA, a Southern California catering company that not only feeds the rich and famous, but they always believed in giving back. And by the way, in all kinds of ways. So welcome, Matt. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for being here, Matt.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Now, Matt, your story can be traced back to, believe it or not, 2 words. And those 2 words are lasagna, cupcakes, which ironically is my pet name for Trey.
I've been called worse, Matt. So, thank you for that, Brian.
What are lasagna cupcakes?
Yeah.
So literally lasagna cupcakes are just an individually made lasagna that we use all the same ingredients that the best Italian restaurants would do. My background is that I came out of culinary school and worked for an incredible chef here in Los Angeles, Angelini. He's famous for his grandmother's lasagna. And, really it's funny, the story you were telling about kind of like having leftovers and, the lasagna cupcake was really just made from like the extra pieces and the extra things left over for a family meal, right? Kind of that Iron Chef America, see what's in the refrigerator. And most restaurants have this, you do daily lunch for everybody. So I had all these scraps from the big lasagna and I made little individual ones, put them in cupcake molds and,
Brilliant.
Stopped making them immediately while I was at the restaurants. And someday I'm going to start a catering business and the lasagna is king. And so, that's kind of become it. And to this day now we're still, they've gotten incredible acclaim and different types of publications on our food truck and through our catering business. So,
well, let me tell you the kind of acclaim they've gotten. Oprah says about his lasagna cupcakes, they will change your life.
Oh, God.
Now, is it true, Matt, that you've patented the lasagna cupcake?
We tried our damnedest. I'll be honest. It was we went all the way. We should have done it early on, and I think we would have been able to secure the trademark for it. But we did go to Washington, D.C. We fought it for all the reasons, spent $1 gajillion to do it. And I think the one good news is that they're freaking hard to make. And so far, nobody's made them. People have ordered them. Stofers have ordered them and tried to recreate them. And we've had really great offers to prepare them as, at different Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and such. But it never came to fruition. It's just an Heirloom LA signature thing.
Well, let me ask you, what's the recipe?
Listen, it's hard work and hands. I'll be honest. Like that's the part of it that makes it so challenging, and that's why we charge so much for them. But they're super durable. We ship them all across the country, and like I said, to this day, they're not necessarily the number one seller, but they're the thing that make people go, "Oh, lasagna cupcakes! Tell me more."
Yeah, I don't really care. I don't really care what's in them. I just want to get them in me.
I know.
That sounds amazing.
We're gonna facilitate that for you.
Really?
Good. Let me ask you this,
you heard him say
Matt. So let's back up way before lasagna cupcakes. Brian and I were talking before we brought you in about like where we learned to cook, or like how did you first get inspired to become a chef?
Yeah, I'm also a Midwest guy. Grew up eating a lot of things frozen, reheated. Bless my mother's heart. She did her very best, and she had her signature dishes, but. My grandmother on my mom's side would take me each year on a week-long vacation. And I can remember being 6 or 7 and going to a bed and breakfast in northern Michigan and waking up to the smell of fresh Belgian waffles. And went downstairs. The woman who was making the breakfast was like, "Do you want to help?" I couldn't begin to tell you how excited I was to jump up on a stool and start cooking them. Fast forward to Christmas, my grandmother got me a Belgian waffle maker. I had one recipe, and every Sunday, pretty much for the rest of my life, been making Belgian waffles. And, I also grew up in an era when Food Network was king, the Malto Marios and the Essence of Emerald and 30-minute meals. And while my whole family was watching ESPN Sports Center, I was captivated by, cooking shows and was definitely raised by the Food Network.
Yeah.
Well, we had way before your time, Matt, but we had the Galloping Gourmet.
Yes, we
Do you remember
did.
that?
Yeah.
For some reason, I didn't cook. I had no interest, but I was like captivated with that.
No, it was Galloping Gourmet and Julia Child. Those were basically the two that we had growing up. But yeah, you had a plethora of great chefs to sort of draw inspiration from. And then clearly you took that ball and ran with it. And like you said, started in LA restaurants here and then moved on to food trucks in a bigger kitchen and a tasting room and parking lot parties and pop-up destinations. And you guys kind of invented drop-off catering as well. What is that exactly?
Well, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, things are so expensive. You got to compartmentalize. And ultimately what people want is the food. They want the quality of the food and they want it to be delivered and convenient. It's really challenging right now financially to afford a party with bartenders and servers and staff and everything. And we thought, well, we can do the food in large scale. We can still deliver the same restaurant quality food. And let's just reformulate how we write the recipes so that they travel and that they can be set up and be more affordable. So you can still host a party. We even do weddings that are drop-offs, 200 people party. We set it all up. And, you find that nowadays people are happy to help and throw away their own trash and recycle and do all the things on their own. So it doesn't necessarily require, I always tell my sales team, 25 to 30% of our total sales is food. The other 70 is the staff, the rentals and everything. So if we can be 70% less expensive and the person can still get the delicious food, that's a win-win really for us and for them.
This highly successful company, Heirloom LA, why catering was there ever any interest in opening your own restaurant?
If I reverse it all the way back to when I was young in high school, we started a tailgate company. We had a really huge high school, 4,000 some odd kids, and we would take the 2 penny or the 2 dimes from everybody's $2 lunch, and we'd put them all in a bucket. And every Friday we'd throw these tailgate parties.
That's great.
And by senior year, we'd be bringing in $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 and change at the Coinstar.
Wow!
Or at the coin machine.
That's quite a tailgate party, yeah.
They were insane. And, so as early as I can remember, as soon as I wanted to become a chef, I never really wanted to be in the restaurant world because I felt like with catering, if I'm looking at it economically, I know exactly how much money I'm going to sell in the next 5 to 7 days. Restaurant, if it rains, people don't show up. I like the personal aspect as well. I love to be able to connect with the person, say, hey, get to be creative and work with them for multiple weeks or work multiple months and then execute their party. It just feels like as a chef in a restaurant, a couple hundred people come in and you don't really get that person-to-person touch so much, especially if you're in the back of the house. So operating catering business, people ask me, well, you should open a restaurant. And I always think, I don't know. That just doesn't feel like the right fit for me.
Well, also this connectivity that you speak about. First of all, I think, Brian, you would agree, Matt's clearly a good human just because he's willing to feed another human. That ranks you high on both of our scales. But it's this connectivity you talk about, which also seems to be a critical ingredient in the kind of work that you do, Matt, because it's clear that another huge priority for you is pursuing philanthropic goals with kind of the same gusto that you put into lasagna cupcakes or whatever else it is that you're making. And so what we want to talk about certainly is this most recent initiative that you have kicked off, which is something called My Brother's Kitchen. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I think, going on across the country and certainly here in Los Angeles, homelessness is increasing at an incredible rate. And I heard a statistic a few years ago that youth in foster care by the age of 23 have, I want to say it's something like that's the highest group at risk to become homeless by the age of 23 as they're aging out of foster care. So, zooming in and asking ourselves, like, what is a way that we can teach youth or just anybody really in general, how to prepare healthy, wholesome meals for $2.50 or less on a little, in sort of what would be a bachelor apartment or like a house that doesn't necessarily have a kitchen. Maybe it's like a toaster oven or something like that. And so, what can you really do when you're traveling through the city and you can't necessarily do anything to impact homelessness? This was a way for us on a monthly basis to recruit 15 to 20 kids, get the community involved. I always tell everybody it's kind of like one of those cooking date shows where you go and you learn a recipe and then you kind of get to screw around a little bit. And our community has been so gracious and generated so much buzz around it that we've got people that are doctors and work in studios that they come and act as mentors. And so essentially you're paired with one of these youth who maybe doesn't want to be an aspiring hospitality person, but you're ultimately cooking pizza in a saute pan on a camping stove. And holy cow, this is so much fun. You screw up, you burn yourself a little bit, and it's very humbling, but it brings everybody together. And the bigger picture here, what we'd love to be able to convert this into, it's called Meals for People. And really our relationships with all of our farmers, our relationships with all of our peers, people that we cater with, putting together a meal delivery that goes right to the transitional housing to those youth here in foster care. The city of Los Angeles has the highest population of youth in foster care, highest number of homelessness.
There's like 30,000 youths or
it's
more
insane.
in the
It's
LA
insane.
foster care system. Yeah.
You know, and you don't even necessarily have to be an aspiring hospitality person to participate in a program like this, because really it's everybody's side hustle while they go through college. And so restaurants are struggling trying to find people that want to work. And, you know, hospitality is really, it's a really great way to learn social skills, communication skills. It's not even necessarily about cooking. It's really just about the camaraderie and the family. And we have the platforms to be able to do it. We do really large scale events with on-call staff members. So our hopes are to create an infrastructure for youth to be able to have an opportunity to come work, come learn, be able to cook for themselves. You always hear people, you know, social workers that used to be in foster care become social workers. We think that if we can get foster youth to come work with us and be preparing meals for existing youth in transitional housing, this is just a really great incubator to kind of get that ball going down the road.
It's fantastic. Matt, maybe a hard question to answer, but where did this come from? I mean, you've got this successful business, and had it always been in your head, look, this is also part of what I want from the very beginning. I want to do these great things.
Yeah, I mean, it's been baked into Heirloom LA since day one. We've always done monthly cooking classes. We partnered with Challengers Boys and Girls Club for quite some time. The Alliance for Children's Rights, which is an organization that advocates for youth in foster care, hosting an annual Thanksgiving cooking class. And, you know, it to me, like everything else doesn't make sense unless you're giving back. It just doesn't. It's like, can you imagine just not having anywhere to go for Thanksgiving? It's so unfortunate. And the youth, you know, every catering kitchen, every restaurant kitchen has individuals that come from this population anyway. We're just not recognizing it. So why not lean into the people that are already a part of our network, the people that are already a part of our community, and try to extend that for their families and their friends and the next of kin. And so it feels like it's always been a part of our natural mentorship with the catering business. And it sometimes, you know, we've had upwards of 100 employees, and a big population of that is going to be people that come from similar backgrounds. Why not try to expand upon that?
Well, talk to us a little bit about what one of these classes might be like. Like, what are the kinds of things that, you know, a student might learn in this class? Sure, having to do with cooking, or the kinds of things that they might learn to cook, but also what else are they learning while they're at it?
Absolutely. So one of the other part of it is the financial and sort of like a literacy, right? So much of it's like, if I tell you go grocery shopping and I can tell you how to buy a $2.50 meal, that's so hard to wrap your head around. So my favorite cooking class we ever did for My Brother's Kitchen, even though that might be argued, we did pizza in a saute pan just this last week, and everybody's minds were blown that you can just put mozzarella cheese in a pan and put dough on top of it and flip it over and make this pizza. Everybody was blown away. I know.
What?
That sounds amazing.
I'm sorry, but going back to that, because I'm intrigued. Did you just invent that? Was that trial by error? Like, hey, I wonder if you can, and then did it?
We were at a catering event in Malibu. The ovens didn't work. We had a pizza on the appetizer menu, and ovens was propane and electric. The generator busted. We had all the saute pans on top of the stove, and I was like, "We got dough, we got tomatoes, we got mozzarella. Let's see if this worked." And you know, cook it low and slow. and it worked. So it became something kind of like, you know what? This is a great camping pizza. You know what? This is a great way to kind of teach people. I mean, everybody loves pizza, right? Even now, pizza, hamburgers, and tacos are king. So it was one of those, oops, this is what we have in the pantry. These are the tools we have. But I was just going to say earlier, the financial literacy part of it, it's really hard to know how to grocery shop. So we did a video where we went to a grocery store, bought $100 worth of groceries, and we made, with $100 worth of groceries, we made 36 meals for two, which was really cool. Everybody got the groceries receipt, and then we walked through how to basically cook each of those dishes. Even something as similar as like you buy one chicken's $25, buy an organic chicken from Whole Foods, $25. We make 9 meals out of that one chicken for two: chicken tacos, chicken noodle soup, chicken quesadillas, chicken salad with grilled bread. So
this is cooking skills, but it winds up being life skills as well in these classes.
Yeah. How else would you know how to do all of that? And
amazing.
I always say, like, I don't actually even know what we're going to make until we do it. But to your point, you open up the pantry, you see what you have. I have this chicken. I got to make enough meals for 10 people. How do I take one chicken, turn it into one meal?
It's great to hear you talk about a lot of people. It's hard for them to shop. I am that person, and I'm not kidding. I don't like going to grocery stores because it's overwhelming. There's too many choices. I don't know where I'm due. I don't know what I should get. I'm reading labels, whatever. I would love to go shopping with you one day.
Yeah, exactly. And I always make the mistake of going to the grocery store hungry. And then I'm just like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a take.
Amazing. So this is a relatively new initiative, My Brother's Kitchen. You guys have partnered with, I think, Twinspire and Alliance for Children's Rights on this. How can average people who are watching or listening right now, and who, by the way, are openly salivating along with the rest of us and are hungry, and I cannot get lasagna cupcakes out of my head, much less saute pan pizza. But if folks listening or watching would like to be helpful in some way to My Brother's Kitchen, how can they do that? We understand you guys have set up a GoFundMe. Is that right?
We do have a GoFundMe. A lot of companies are using this same model to sort of do team building. So anybody who's working in, it's a Netflix, right? Like somebody who's working somewhere to kind of throw these like after work things, they cost about $3,500 for us to be able to do. But if, for instance, we could do something like that, a company could therefore sponsor the next one. They pay to have 30 people do a cooking class where they're teaching their staff, unrelated to the youth being there, they're teaching their staff how to make meals in 10 minutes for $2.50 or less. It's a great team building thing. We just charge them double, and then they're therefore sponsoring the next one. So for $7,000, you throw this party where we come in, we cook this whole thing in your office, we bring all the equipment, and therefore we can then throw the next one and give them the props on the next cooking class.
This is a no-brainer. I'm going to forward this broadcast to every single Netflix executive I know.
And he knows a lot of them.
Okay, great. And also, we will put a link to the GoFundMe on our website so that if you guys want to try and directly help Matt and the rest of his crew keep My Brother's Kitchen aloft, which it's such a, it feels and sounds and smells, and I'm certainly sure tastes like an incredibly worthy goal that you have you have set here.
Fantastic work, Matt. It's a pleasure to meet you, and you're welcome here anytime if you bring some lasagna cupcakes.
I'm coming to bring lasagna cupcakes. Don't you worry about that. That's in the works.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today, Matt, but especially thank you for being such a clearly good human.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. It's the community around me. Thank you so much.
Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck.
Wow. What an amazing guy.
Oh, geez. Two things. He's way younger than a chef should be.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
way thinner than a chef should be. This guy was in great shape.
But one of the things he said during the break to you and I both is, and I thought it was a really brilliant way of putting it, food is healthcare.
Yeah.
And he has taken it upon himself, not just in his professional business, to sort of nourish and delight people with the things he makes, but obviously, in the more philanthropic sense, he's trying to nourish people's souls and trying to help people learn more than just cooking skills, but life skills.
Hey, can we wrap this up?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm really.
Yo, you're hungry?
We're gonna go eat.
Okay.
Right down from the studio, right around the corner. There's a great restaurant.
All right, just
they have like Korean meatball corn dogs.
Wow, that actually sounds good.
They're really good.
Okay, before we get to
not
the
a
corn
cheat day, but
dogs,
I'm having one.
let me just at least say, please go visit our website, BeGoodHumansPodcast.com. Tell us about good humans in your lives, people you think we should meet, pointers you think we should have on how to be good humans, where we can get more Korean meatballs, corn dog
meatballs. Anyway, that's going to do it. We'll see you next time. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Be good humans.
Be good humans. Be good humans. Be good humans, or we will think you suck.
Be Good Humans is executive produced by Brian Phelps, Trey Calloway, and Grant Anderson, with associate producers Sean Fitzgerald and Clementine Calloway in partnership with Straw Hut Media. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and remember, be good humans.